Welcome into another episode of the Gulag mock draft. We're about halfway there. Got a wide variety of spots that I could potentially pick from here. Let's go ahead and see what I'm going to get. I'm drafting from the 9 spot today. Look at the 9 spot. The 9 is Mr. Joe Burkland, Statistical Truth, Joe Wonder, Sports Column, whatever you want, JB3. So we're going to draft from the 9 spot today. See what ends up happening. Nice spot here for the first, but if we look at the second, we're looking at the 56, which is the 508 in a regular 12-team league. At 9, we probably should hope that one of those top running backs gets there, but again, could also go wide receiver if one of those top options is there. So we're going to get started in the 9 spot. All right, let's look at some of the options there. Davante Adams, Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders, Kenyon Drake, Joe Mixon. Davante Adams being there is very, very interesting. I would have wanted one of these 4 running backs, Barkley, Henry, Kamara, or CEH to be there, but unfortunately they are not. So now I got to decide, do I want to go with one of these high upside running backs such as Miles Sanders or Kenyon Drake? Or do I want Josh Jacobs, who I know is going to get a lot of touches right away? Or do I want to get Davante Adams, who might see somewhere near 150 targets on the season? I think I'm going to take a risk here, do something a little different for Joe's team. I'm going to take Davante Adams with the 9 overall, and I'm going to see which running backs are available just for example purposes when it comes back to him. So if we look at his team, obviously he's got Davante Adams. Negative here, though, Davante Adams has a week 5 bye. So the wide receiver options we fill in for Davante Adams' place going to be kind of sketchy, and we'll see what happens there. We see the running backs available, we'll be able to make a decision on should we have taken one or not. All right, Kareem Hunt's there. That's probably going to be my pick, either Kareem Hunt or Ronald Jones here for the first running back off of Joe's team. With Kareem Hunt, the good thing is we're in a full PPR league. He's going to get involved right away. We saw that happen right when he came off of his suspension with the Browns last season. Looking at these other guys, DeAndre Swift, we don't know what his role is going to be right away. Same goes for Cam Akers. I know Ronald Jones has been stated that he's going to be the guy with the Buccaneers, but also we got to take into consideration his inconsistency. With Kareem Hunt, I think he's going to be involved right off the bat. So we're starting with Kareem Hunt and Davante Adams for Joe's team. All right, so if we look at the rest here, so wide receivers, none of these options in the top 5 being Cooks, Gallup, Landry, Fuller, or Boyd really stick out to me. Tight end, Evan Ingram's the top guy left. I think we could do a little better and take someone that might even do just as good as him due to injury concern a little later. Quarterback, we got Breeze, Ryan, Brady, and Rodgers. I don't really want any of those guys right now. At the running backs, we have 2 rookies. We have Marlon Mack and we have Jordan Howard. Now, we took Kareem Hunt, who, he could explode and be stud this year. I'm going to take a safe option then with the Dolphins because who knows, if Tua's there, they need someone that's going to help them be productive right off the bat. I'm taking Jordan Howard with the Miami Dolphins. So if we look at Joe's team right now, he's got Kareem Hunt, Jordan Howard, and Davante Adams. We don't have to worry about that running back position any longer. unless there's someone that's just there and we want him in the flex spot that's going to show us a really, really valuable pick. If Kyler had been there at the 309, I would have definitely taken a long look at him as well, just because of the fact that he has that running ability, which is going to be huge. He's in a pass first offense. Kind of an interesting pick. It would have been Devontae Adams, Kareem Hunt, and Kyler Murray. But we're going to see in a second what those running back options would have looked like had we have taken Kyler Murray anyways. Looking at the options that could have been our wide receiver one had we not taken Kareem Hunt and at the beginning taken a guy like Miles Sanders, Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon, or Kenyon Drake, we would have had options like Tyler Lockett, Cortland Sutton, and Devontae Parker are really the big guys I would have considered to take had we not taken Devontae Adams. I still like the idea of taking that approach because we saw the running backs we got. They should be pretty solid, at least to start the season. Kareem Hunt's obviously not going to be suspended to any extent, at least to begin the year. So looking at the wide receiver options, first I want to take a look at the running backs, see who could have been there. So Damian Harris is somewhat interesting because of the idea that Sony Michel is most likely going to start the year on the pup. Duke Johnson's kind of a PPR option there. Boston Scott, same boat. Adrian Peterson should be the running back starting for the Washington football team. We will see if that actually comes to fruition. Quarterback then got some options that I don't really love. We'll take a look at it when we come back at the 5-9. Tight end, got some flyer options there. I think we need to fill this wide receiver position. We got Christian Kirk, who I like with the Cardinals. He's going to be the number 2 option now with DeAndre Hopkins there, but they're going to throw the ball a ton. So then we got Sterling Shepard, Sammy Watkins, and then some other ideas here. Jalen Reagor is interesting as well, but I'm going to go with a safe option in Christian Kirk. We're starting this draft off for Joe with Kareem Hunt, Jordan Howard, Devontae Adams, and Christian Kirk. You can see Jalen Reagor went next. He is a rookie, and rookie wide receivers don't usually produce, but the opportunity that he has in that offense with the Eagles is going to be very interesting to see. And Anthony Miller, I like that idea a lot. Golden Tate is another safe option for my flex. Let's go ahead and get him. A lot of these guys, they have later buys, which is great for us, knowing that we took Devontae Adams right off the bat. Now, I mentioned earlier that Devontae Adams is going to go on by rather early. So now I need to really consider, do I want to take one of these guys? And I'm leaning that way rather than going ahead to the quarterback and taking one of these guys that's a vet or he's going to show a pretty good game. And then tight end, you know that I always go with late round flyers there. I'm looking at Golden Tate as a very interesting option for the Giants. Don't really believe in the Bears offense at all, even though Anthony Miller had a great end of the season. I'm going to take Golden Tate. We know he's a PPR stud. Daniel Jones should improve in year 2. And I know they have 3 really solid options with the Giants. But Golden Tate's a safe option in the idea that if Joe would not get a wide receiver from the waivers to fill in for Devontae Adams, Golden Tate will be a guy that should be able to slide right in there. So we filled the flex position with another wide receiver. I think that was a really smart approach. Let's take a look at the quarterbacks. Got guys like Kirk Cousins, Drew Lock, Gardner Minshew, and Derek Carr of interest. At tight end, then we got Jack Doyle. And then after that, I don't like any of the options. I'm going to go ahead. I see a lot of red on my left. I don't believe a lot of these teams will take a second quarterback, even though this team 4 already did. I'm going to wait. I'm going to take a guy like Jack Doyle. With the Indianapolis Colts, Philip Rivers is now there, and I know Jack Doyle is definitely going to get involved because Philip Rivers loves throwing to the tight end. Unfortunately, we can see the 3 quarterbacks already went off the board. That kind of sucks. I still think that we need to take a look. Gardner Minshew with the Jags, their defense is horrendous. Gardner showed that he is a solid, capable quarterback last year. I think I'm going to go ahead and decide between him and Derek Carr. Derek Carr's got a lot of options to throw the ball to. They're going to have to keep up with some really good offenses there in the AFC West. So it's a matter of, do I believe in Gardner and the turnover potential, but he has a lot more running ability, or do I believe in Derek Carr, who I'd say is a more safe quarterback? I'm going to take Gardner Minshew here. Additionally, I get one more week of bye if Joe would not go ahead and look into getting another quarterback on the waivers. So we're starting off here for Joe's team with Gardner Minshew, Kareem Hunt, and Jordan Howard, Davante Adams, Christian Kirk, Jack Doyle, and Golden Tate. I really, really like this team that we got going here for Joe. Just because we filled the need to prepare for not getting a wide receiver when Davante Adams goes on bye. And I think this team is still really, really solid. In week 5, we are going to have 24 teams left. If Joe would still be around, which I expect him to be, you're looking at a pretty solid team around that time. We're in kind of a predicament here if you see the defenses that are available. We got the Jets, Falcons, Cardinals, Lions, Giants, gross. So we're in a lot of gross options here. I want to see who the Raiders play. Right now I'm looking at the Cardinals just because they have the best players. I like this for the Raiders, though, because Carolina, we got Teddy Bridgewater there. I don't think he's going to light the world on fire. It's a home game with no fans. Kind of the way I'm leaning right now, because with a defense, you want to get a team that can at least score positive points right away. And with the Cardinals in week 1, I'm pretty sure that they play a pretty solid team. I could be wrong, but it could be 49ers. Yes. So I'm going to go with the Las Vegas Raiders here for Joe's defense. Not pretty, not a sexy pick, but also should get him some positive points in week 1. That's what we really want. I was hoping Matt Gay would fall, and he definitely did. You know, I originally had been saying, if you don't take a kicker until the end, you're kind of a mistaken pick there. Now I'm coming around the idea of, in a Gulag guillotine league, you want a starting lineup that can get you through to the next week. It's survive in advance. That's all it's going to be. So you need guys that are going to score you points. With Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers offense should be really, really good. As a result of that, I think Matt Gay, even though he missed a lot of field goals last year and extra points, he's going to have the opportunity to score points on a lot of those possessions. So our starting lineup is filled for Joe's team. We got Gardner Minshew, Kareem Hunt, and Jordan Howard. Like those options once again. Davante Adams and Christian Kirk. Jack Doyle at tight end. Flex, we got Golden Tate, and then we got Matt Gay, and then the Raiders versus the Panthers in week 1 for our defense. So now it's just about deciding what route do we want to go here on out. Looking at the quarterbacks, we don't have any guys here that have been promised the starting gig from week 1. Taysom Hill, if I was going to take a quarterback, would probably be the guy I'd look at because he should be involved. Obviously, he's not the starting quarterback. Trubisky, though, say what you want about Trubisky. He is the incumbent starter. He needs to be beat out by Nick Foles, even though that they traded for him and his massive contract. Fitzpatrick, we don't know what's going to happen between him and Tua. I have heard some rumblings Tua is going to be the starter, but we don't know that for sure. So, trying to play defense here might not be the smartest way to go. Tight end, I do it in like every single draft. Irv Smith Jr. has a ton of potential. The fact that he's going this late, he could be a starting tight end or even a viable flex option right away. So Irv Smith Jr. is a high upside, low risk type option, especially for our bench. Some of these options are not good, and as you can see that for just a bench play. So now I'm going to look at the quarterback and say to myself, all right, I know Herbert's not starting. That's already been put into place. So Trubisky's gone. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Ryan Fitzpatrick as a backup quarterback. Even if he doesn't start, he can be dropped right away for someone that's off the waiver wire for Joe to kind of help his team move on a weekly basis. So we got Irv Smith Jr. and Ryan Fitzpatrick on our bench. If Fitzpatrick is starting in week 1, let's go ahead and see who they're playing against. So they're playing against the Patriots. Patriots have a great defense. It did take a couple hits from a lot of guys holding out this season, or opting out, I should say, for the Patriots. So don't know if I'd really consider Ryan Fitzpatrick for week 1. Let's see who the Jags are playing. They're playing the Colts, another solid defense. It's funny, it says right here, limited in-person attendance. Jags are still looking to have fans starting in week 1. Yikes. So, I'm still going to go with Gardner probably because, he's going to be given the start. There's no way he's going to get benched. Who's going to be the starting quarterback? Josh Dobbs? Gross. So, I like the fact that we did back it up, though, in the case of an injury or something would happen. We'll have a lot more answers to some of these things that we're debating on as it gets closer to the season. So now we're just trying to fill one more bench spot. I did see the name Corey Clement. He's kind of on my radar. Kiki QT as well, because we don't know who's really going to be the guys on the field at all times for the Texans. At tight end here, we do have some guys that are going to be starting. Not one I definitely want to roster, that's for sure. I like Kiki QT as an idea. Again, he's a player, if he does nothing, we can just use him as drop candidate. The last round, as you can see, if you hadn't already filled your starting lineup, is some guys that, are just probably not going to do much for your team. So let's take a look at the team we got here for Joe. Read it off one more time. We got Gardner Minshew at quarterback. Our running backs, we have Kareem Hunt and Jordan Howard. Our wide receivers, we got Davante Adams and Christian Kirk. Tight end, we got Jack Doyle. Our flex, we got Golden Tate. Remember, he can slide right in for Davante if Joe wouldn't want to be spending his money and be conservative in that way. Kicker, we got Matt Gay with the Buccaneers. For defense, we got the Las Vegas Raiders. We got Irv Smith Jr. there, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Kiki QT. I really like this team. I think it can do well right off the bat, which is, of course, what you need in this type of league. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Gulag Mock Draft.